How King Frederick fell for Queen Mary at the Olympics party that changed royal history. Welcome to B News. Love stories often emerge from the most unexpected places, train stations, classrooms, airports, but rarely do they unfold at an international sporting event involving royalty, destiny, and a humble Australian advertising executive. Yet this is precisely how the fairy tale romance between King Frederick X of Denmark and Queen Mary began. Their journey didn't start with royal arrangements or formal introductions. Instead, it sparked on a lively Sydney night in 2000, during the Summer Olympics, a party, a pub, and a conversation that would forever alter the future of the Danish monarchy. This isn't just a royal love story, it's a historical turning point, one that proves true love can rewrite the script of royal tradition. The 2000 Summer Olympics brought the world to Sydney, Australia, a city buzzing with athletes, international delegations, media, and a spirit of celebration. Among the visitors was Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark, heir to a 1,000-year-old monarchy. Known for his charm, modesty, and adventurous spirit, Frederik had always straddled the line between royal obligations and personal freedom. Unbeknownst to him, one of those social Olympic parties would become the setting for the most transformative moment of his life. That party wasn't held in a palace or elite diplomatic circle, it was a relaxed gathering at a pub called the Slip-In. Mary Donaldson, a 28-year-old marketing professional from Tasmania, wasn't seeking fame, fortune, or a crown. A graduate of the University of Tasmania, she was living a quiet, independent life in Sydney, pursuing her career and enjoying time with friends. On the night of their fateful meeting, she had no idea that she would soon cross paths with royalty. When a friend introduced her to a group of European guests, including a man simply named Fred, she treated the interaction with typical Australian ease. She didn't know that Fred was actually Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark, second in line to the throne. What followed that night was not a whirlwind of pageantry, but something more intimate, genuine chemistry. Amid the laughter and clinking glasses of an Olympic celebration, Frederik and Mary engaged in an authentic conversation that transcended status. Their dialogue was easy, unforced. Mary's unpretentious charm and intelligence captivated Frederik, who was accustomed to meeting people who treated him differently because of his title. For Mary, the encounter was equally refreshing. Fred didn't lead with his royal status, he led with sincerity. That initial spark didn't fade when the music ended, it ignited something deeper. After that night, the two began a discreet long-distance relationship. Over thousands of kilometers and time zones, they stayed connected through emails, phone calls, and private visits. Frederik returned to Denmark, but Mary was never far from his thoughts. While royal responsibilities demanded his attention at home, his heart remained tethered to Sydney. Their love blossomed in secrecy, far from the gaze of the public or paparazzi. This phase of their relationship was built not on ceremony, but communication. In those quiet months, their bond deepened into something profoundly authentic. As whispers of the Crown Prince's mysterious Australian girlfriend began to reach the press, speculation grew. Who was this woman who had captivated the heir to Denmark's throne? Was she royal material? The European tabloids were abuzz, but the Danish people, ever pragmatic and kind-hearted, were cautiously curious. Mary, meanwhile, was preparing for an unimaginable transition. She left her job, eventually relocated to Europe, and began adapting to the expectations of royal life. She undertook intensive Danish language lessons, studied the customs and history of her new country, and learned how to navigate a monarchy that stretched back over a millennium. The royal family, particularly Queen Margrethe II, maintained a respectful silence publicly but kept a watchful eye on the blossoming relationship. Mary wasn't from nobility or European aristocracy, she was, by all accounts, a commoner. But what she lacked in lineage, she made up for in dignity, intelligence, and presence. She wasn't dazzled by titles, she was grounded, composed, and authentic. Slowly but surely, she began winning over the royal court and the Danish public. People admired her effort to integrate, her dedication to learning the language, and her clear devotion to Frederik. By 2003, the couple's relationship had moved beyond mere courtship, It was a partnership rooted in shared values and a vision for the future. That year, the Danish royal house officially announced their engagement, and the entire world turned its eyes to Copenhagen. The press hailed it as a modern Cinderella story. A prince had fallen in love not with nobility, but with a woman who represented a new era of royalty, modern, multicultural, and genuinely connected to the people. Mary's engagement ring, a ruby flanked by diamonds, reflected Denmark's red and white flag, symbolizing her growing bond with the nation. Their wedding on May 14, 2004, was a landmark event not just in Denmark but across the world. Held in the historic Copenhagen Cathedral, the ceremony was attended by royalty, dignitaries, and millions watching on television. Mary walked down the aisle in a custom ivory gown by Danish-Australian designer Anne Frank, wearing a veil steeped in royal tradition. As she approached the altar, all eyes turned to Prince Frederik, tears welled in his eyes. That single moment, caught by cameras and broadcast globally, became one of the most iconic symbols of royal love in modern times. Becoming Crown Princess Mary wasn't the end of her journey. It was the beginning of a new chapter filled with both privilege and responsibility. Mary immersed herself in royal duties, balancing protocol with her own sense of purpose. She founded the Mary Foundation to address social issues such as bullying, domestic violence, and mental health. Her grace, fluency in Danish, and empathy helped her gain admiration not just in Denmark but around the world. The Danish media praised her as the people's princess, and international outlets recognized her as one of the most influential modern royals. The love between Frederik and Mary continued to blossom in public and private. They welcomed 4 children, Prince Christian, Princess Isabella, and twins Prince Vincent and Princess Josephine. As parents, they maintained a balance between tradition and normalcy, giving their children a grounded upbringing while preparing them for future roles. Their family photos, often shared by the palace, depict moments of genuine affection, camping trips, school runs, and shared laughter. These are not mere public relations tools. They are windows into a real royal love story that has stood the test of time. When Queen Margrethe II abdicated in January 2024, the eyes of the world turned to Frederik and Mary once again. As Frederik became King Frederik X, Mary ascended as Queen of Denmark, marking a momentous new era for the Danish monarchy. The coronation was filled with tradition but also marked by modern inclusivity and accessibility. For Mary, it was a personal milestone. A woman from Tasmania now wore a crown that represented one of Europe's oldest monarchies. Her journey from that pub in Sydney to the throne of Denmark was complete, but her role had just begun. Queen Mary's reign so far has been marked by quiet strength, compassion, and a deep connection with the Danish people. Together with King Frederik, they have championed issues like climate action, youth empowerment, and mental health awareness. They attend international forums, host state visits, and continue to redefine what modern royalty can look like. Their relationship remains a centerpiece of their public image, not as a facade, but as a genuine example of love, loyalty, and shared purpose. In a world increasingly skeptical of monarchy, Frederik and Mary offer a refreshing narrative. They remind us that behind the formality and symbolism, real people and real love can still thrive in royal life. Their partnership is built on equality, mutual respect, and an unwavering emotional connection. It's no surprise that they are consistently ranked among the most admired royal couples in the world. Their story continues to inspire not just because it's romantic, but because it's relatable. They met like ordinary people. They loved like ordinary people. But together, they created something extraordinary, a royal union that feels modern yet timeless. Their love proves that fate sometimes steps in when you least expect it, even at an Olympic party in Sydney. So as we look back at that unforgettable moment at the Slip-In, we are reminded of the power of one chance meeting. One conversation. One spark. The love that began that night didn't just change 2 lives, it changed royal history. What do you think it was about that night in Sydney that turned a casual conversation into a love story for the ages? Let us know in the comments below.